Hey everyone, it's Chris, and in today's video, I am talking about the amazing Spider-Man, Kraven's Last Hunt. Let's get into it! Kraven's Last Hunt is a comic book storyline by DeMatteis and Mike Zeck, published in 1987, that features the final battle between Kraven the Hunter and Spider-Man. This storyline expanded into a 6-part saga. The saga begins with Coffin and concludes with Ascending. The acclaimed storyline is a dark and complex tale praised for its deep psychological horrors and mature themes. The rebirth of Spider-Man is unique and truly inspiring. Now, let's explore some of these deep psychological horrors. Spider-Man is ambushed by Kraven and is shot with his prized rifle. This paralyzes Spider-Man, and Kraven then proceeds to bury him alive for 2 weeks. He kills Spider-Man to prove his superiority. I just really like how this really starts messing with you very early on in the storyline. Like, really gets into your head. In a bold move to cement his victory, Kraven dons the black suit and goes on a violent crime spree, demonstrating that he is the better Spider-Man. Now, what I do like about this storyline is that Peter Parker, Spider-Man's not the only one that dons the black suit. I'm going to copy his same outfit. I'm going to don the black suit that he wears, and I'm going to go take down all these criminals and prove that I'm the better Spider-Man. But later in the video, we'll explain that Kraven, he can never be Peter Parker. Kraven shifts from a one-note villain to a deeply tragic, compelling figure, especially what happens at the end of this storyline. But we'll talk about that later in the video. Kraven's obsession with Spider-Man serves as a metaphor for his morality and superiority. Peter Parker does not just wear the mask, no matter what he does. He remains a caring and passionate man. And that's the big difference between Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Kraven the Hunter. Because it's not just about the suit, it's about the man underneath the suit. Now, let's examine the mature themes in this storyline. After escaping his grave, Spider-Man confronts Kraven at his mansion. Kraven releases Vermin onto Spider-Man. The two fight, but Spider-Man convinces Vermin that Kraven is using him. He listens to him and flees to the sewers. Before pursuing Vermin, Spider-Man spares Kraven and advises him to choose a different path. Kraven believes he has already won the hunt and leaves his final statement. He leaves a confession of his actions for the police, clearing Spider-Man's name. And I really do like that about Kraven the Hunter in this storyline. Like, yeah, he buried Spider-Man alive and essentially ruined his reputation because he was donning the black suit. But even in his final moments, he's like, you know what? I'll clear his name and I'm not going to let it ruin his life because of my actions. Which really says a lot about Kraven, you know? In this storyline, Kraven the Hunter, he really shifts from that one-note villain to a really deeply tragic and compelling figure. I really do like that about this storyline. In one of the most shocking and powerful moments in a Spider-Man comic book storyline, Kraven, having found happiness, calm, and peace, he takes his own life with his rifle. His death was so profound and had such a devastating impact, Kraven the Hunter didn't appear until 2010 in the Marvel Universe. Like, that should just say enough how powerful this moment truly is. His death had a devastating impact that lasted over 2 decades. Finally, let's explore Spider-Man's rebirth. The storyline also offers a deep insight into Peter Parker's character. Stripped of his costume and buried alive, Peter confronts his deepest fears and doubts. His eventual escape and emergence demonstrate his resilience, humanity, and love for Mary Jane. This moment is truly iconic and unforgettable. Now, in issue number 4, because this one is 1 to 6, starting with Coffin and ending with, or concluding with, Ascending. Number 4, this is where we see the rebirth of Spider-Man. Number 4, issue 4, Resurrection. And in that cover art, they used this. Now, in the original one, like the original issue, you know, this is a graphic novel, so it has 1 to 6. But issue number 4, it was this cover art, but it was like black and white. Now, because of that one scene in the storyline, it gave birth to that iconic and truly unforgettable cover art. But I love the moment in the actual storyline where he's having this nightmare sequence and he's trying to crawl out of the grave, and he's essentially saying, Kraven's like, oh, I'll kill you, and he's like, nightmare sequence. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, he gets attacked and he's a spider and stuff like that, and he really, really has doubts and fears like everybody does. But, like he says, like, Peter Parker isn't a weakness, it's a strength. I'm Spider-Man. Peter Parker is also Spider-Man. I'm a caring and passionate person. I love Mary Jane. And I love how the main reason why he gets out of that grave is because his love for Mary Jane. And what's one of the most powerful things in the world? Love. This guy loved Mary Jane so much, you can't bury him alive and expect him to be dead. You can't kill Spider-Man unless you truly cut off his love between Peter Parker and Mary Jane. We wouldn't have that iconic, awesome cover art for that issue number 4, Resurrection, if it wasn't for this moment in the storyline. The Amazing Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt has a gothic atmosphere and groundbreaking art style. Now, I will say that for a 1987 comic book storyline, the art style is definitely a standout. The shifting narrative maintains a steady flow, keeping you engaged from start to finish. Now, I want to express that in this storyline, obviously in the beginning, starts off as Peter Parker's perspective, Spider-Man, but once he's buried alive, there's quite a few, I think from like 2 to 4 where he's resurrected. He has that iconic moment where he's, the rebirth of Spider-Man, but it definitely shifts focus from Spider-Man to Kraven the Hunter's perspective. And even a little bit sometimes in the storyline, we see what Vermin's up to. He's just lurking in the shadows. He's kind of just like a cannibal. I almost said cannabis. He's almost like a cannibal killer. He's going around killing people, licking an officer's face, and this one girl just walking in the rain, and then a rat comes out of nowhere and she falls, and then he just grabs her and pulls her in through a sewer grate and essentially sends her down into the sewers, and then he's looking at her, yum, 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 and it's like, okay, dude, that's a woman there, chill. So, definitely shifts perspectives throughout this storyline. This storyline explores mature themes and focuses on psychological horrors. I really do like some of the mature themes in this storyline, like I mentioned before in this video. His Last Hunt stands as the darkest and most outstanding Spider-Man stories ever written. Now, I want to turn these types of videos into a series where I essentially read a lot of graphic novels or comic books and I talk about them on the channel. So I want to express that if this video gets over 100 likes, I will explore and talk about other Spider-Man storylines on the channel. Anything Spider-Man related, I should express. I really do like talking about something different, every now and then. Because, like I have said before and I want to express now, is that with Spider-Man, I've talked about cartoons, movies, I've shown off pop figures, and I've talked about Spider-Man video games. And I figured, why not talk about where he originated from, where he got famous from, the comic books. So if you guys have suggestions, you could always message me on Facebook, Chris Rayborn. My email is chrispero15@gmail.com. You could always just send me an email or mostly message me. I feel like that would be the best way to contact me. So you can always, or just comment below. Just say, hey, check out this storyline. Alright guys, that was me talking about The Amazing Spider-Man, Kraven's Last Hunt. Let me know, have you read Kraven's Last Hunt that was published in 1987? Do you like reading a lot of the Spider-Man storylines? Have you read some of the newer stuff, or do you prefer some of the stuff from the 90s, late 80s, early 2000s? Let me know down below. What is your favorite Spider-Man storyline? I'm Spider-ManChris, and I will see you in the next one.